Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. So, have a little situation that I've been dealing with over the last few months, and I just wanted to go ahead and tell you guys the story so that if anybody comes across this problem, then hopefully you can get it solved a little bit easier than I did. So, a certain cell phone company that we have our service through offers occasionally like a trade-in program where you can send the old phone in and then get a pretty good discount on the new one. Well, in this case it was a straight across trade, sending in an iPhone XR to get an iPhone 13 in return. So I was like, well, that's, pretty good deal. It was straight across trade, nothing nothing due after the initial activation fee and everything like that. So went ahead and started that process. I got my shipping, they got the phone, the new phone shipped out, and then also the return box sent to me with the label and everything. I went ahead and packaged that up, and I guess in hindsight, not the greatest choice, but I was kind of in. I was not really. There's only about 3 or 4 UPS stores within the vicinity or within our city, and I really wasn't going to be close to any of those, and just wanted to drop it off and forget about it. So I went ahead and dropped it off at one of their UPS drop boxes. These are just little boxes. I'll try to find a picture of one and post it here for you, but basically these are just little boxes, kind of like a large mailbox, where you pull down the handle, throw your package in, and then close it up and it drops down below. This is in a pretty decent part of town, right visible from a busy street and everything, so I just figured, why not? It's not that big of a deal. This was like at 2 o'clock that afternoon. They probably pick it up daily. That is what it said on the there's a time, pickup time thing on it, just like a regular mailbox, and said they'd be there at 5:30 p.m. that evening. Well, I guess that didn't happen. So 2 months goes by. I had contacted the cell phone company a couple of times to say, hey, what's the status here? And apparently I misunderstood the representative at one point, that I thought they were saying that the phone had been received, but it was going to take some time for them to check it out and then also get that information into the system so that the credit could be applied to our account. Well, what really happened was that they still hadn't received the phone yet, and when I went to follow up on this 2 months later, I found out that they still never received the phone. So, thankfully, I still had the tracking number from the return label that they sent. Went on to UPS's website, put in the tracking, nothing. Just it came back as like an invalid or something like that. I tried to call their customer service line. It was terrible to get a hold of somebody. It took forever for somebody to pick up. I think I was on hold for about a half an hour. Anyway, then I was informed that I needed to actually contact the shipper, which was officially the cell phone company, since they're the ones that generated the return label. So I contacted them. They said I needed to contact UPS. It's just a back and forth, typical thing. So I realized I wasn't going to get anywhere. Contacted the office plaza little area where this drop box was located to see if they had any cameras that might be aimed at that. They said, no, sorry, we don't. So I went down there and took a little closer look at the box, and there's definitely some pry marks on the door below. And so only thing I could assume was that somebody broke into it. So then I drove out to our local UPS hub and talked to a lady in the office there. She wasn't really pleasant to deal with. I ended up, I asked her, I said, hey, I dropped my package in this drop box, and it just disappeared. And she said, oh, yeah, you're going to have to go through claims and whatever. We can't do anything for you here. You have to go through the official claims process, and you're about the ninth or 10th person that's come in with complaints about that specific box over the last couple of months. And I'm like, really, that many people, and you haven't done anything? And she said, well, yeah, the box, we got information that the door was open on that box, and so we took it out of commission. You should have seen that, and known not to put a package in that certain drop box. I mean, there's no sign. I said, I mean, yet you didn't put a sign on it or anything like that. You just leave it there and expect people to know not to use it. I mean, even a broken door can close without actually locking. So maybe that was the case. I don't know, but there was no indication that the box was out of commission. So, I tried to file this claim on UPS's website. Well, you can't file a claim unless you have a valid tracking number, which means that a tracking number had been scanned into their system from a package that was shipped and it did not reach its destination. Well, obviously that wasn't the case here, because when you print a label, it doesn't actually get entered into their system until it's scanned. So since it was never scanned, I guess technically not a valid tracking number. So I had a couple of more failed attempts with UPS's customer service. Just couldn't get anywhere with that. And so, I don't know, I just went home and kind of sat on it for a while. Like, well, what can I do, I started doing some searching around online, and a couple of people suggested, well, really the only thing you can do is file a small claims court, file with the small claims court. So I looked up that process. You go down to the courthouse. It's not very expensive. I think like $30 or something like that, maybe even less. And then you can pay an extra $25, I believe it was, to have a sheriff serve the papers. And that is actually, if you win the case, that is actually reimbursed to you. So it took me some time to figure out where I had to contact UPS's legal department to find out what they have to have an agent in each state, possibly even each major city. I'm not sure about that, but wherever they do business, they have to have an agent that accepts these legal documents on their behalf. So that ended up being a big law firm here in town. So, I was like, well, great, it's just me, the little guy, kind of going up against some huge law firm. But, after this, the process got fairly streamlined. After all of that, it wasn't too bad. So what happened from there is that I received the letter in the mail with the court date and time of the hearing or whatever, and I then like 2 days later, I got a call from a security. I can't remember his title. Some kind of loss prevention security type guy with UPS. he basically just apologized and said, "Hey, we'll go ahead and get you a check sent out, so you don't have to go to court." I was just like, "What?" So after that, I was like, "Wow, this is actually really this is nice, you know. I think we've finally gotten somewhere." And so, there were a couple of emails back and forth with him. Took a little extra time. I think we only had 4 weeks until that trial date, and he said he would probably have the check out to me within a week and in my hand within two, and it ended up being three, at least three. I mean, it was very close to the court date. But what he ended up doing was having me fill out a W-9 form and sending it to him. I didn't really feel great about that. I mean, why should I have to give my social security number to this company that I don't work for or anything like that? I still am kind of wondering if that was kind of, if that's like, ethical the way they did that. Not really sure how they are putting this amount of money down on their on their books. So if you are somebody with legal knowledge, or if you know somebody that might know the answer to that question, please let them know, or please find that out and let us know, because I'm really kind of curious to find out if that was actually the right way for them to handle that. But yeah, I mean, otherwise, like I said, I did end up finally receiving the check and closed it out, and I guess everybody's happy. Uh, the two things that I wasn't totally happy about. Um, the one thing that kind of bugs me about this is that on those boxes, um, the one thing that was mildly frustrating about this, but really is kind of my own fault, is that on those drop boxes, there's a sign that says "Do not drop packages that are worth more than $500 into this box." Um, so when I filed the claim, I put the amount down as $500 value, because I thought that it would probably add a little complexity to the deal if I put more than that. But the good thing is that this particular cell phone company, um, they went ahead and found like some other deal that they were able to give me $300 discount off of the phone without trade-in. So they applied that to my account, and then um, and then and then I got the 500 from UPS plus the court costs and all that stuff. Um, so it ended up being the $800 anyway, which is what the trade-in value of the phone was. But it still is just kind of annoying. But lesson learned: if you ever find yourself in this situation, just skip everything else and go straight to the small claims court. I think that's going to be the less stressful, easiest way for you to get things done. And if you haven't run into this situation, then save yourself some time and trouble and just don't use one of those drop boxes. Give me a like, share, subscribe, or comment, and thanks a lot for tuning in. Take it easy.